Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Coaching Observer. Wow, what a Rugby World Cup opener. Huge scorelines, no real upsets. However, there were some interesting things to chat about. This video, I will be covering just the England and Argentina game, as well as Wales-Fiji, two of my favorite games for the entire weekend, and also a few nail-biters across there. First one I want to chat about, Argentina-England. Wow, did I really want Argentina to win? I won't lie, I went to bed extremely upset. I think Argentina could have really pulled it through with Mike Shaker's team over there. England getting a red card in the first 3 minutes. What did Tom Curry think? Now, we can see that they're being extremely strict on those high hits or not being able to dip at the hips, no mitigating factor. And I think that it's saving us a lot of on-field time to review the red card on the TMO's own time. Argentina starting well with giving them a 3-0 lead from a penalty. However, the decision making at the next penalty, I'm not too sure about. The most important thing in rugby is scoreboard pressure, just being able to let that tick over. I think the first bit of momentum that England really won in this game is when Argentina decided with a penalty straight in front of the poles just to go again for the line, try get the maul over, and they couldn't do it. What happened? Boom. Go for the line, try get the maul. England defend it. England get out of their 22, relieve pressure straight after a yellow card. Now, in my eyes as a coach, that's a big no-no. Everyone knows that I tell them, every time I'm in the red zone, which is the 22 of the opposition, you have to come out with points. Now, in a World Cup, these things are amplified. So every time you visit the opposing 22 and you don't get points, it's actually gaining momentum for the team across that, despite if there's a card or not. Now, let's talk about George Ford. Guys, the most exquisite 10 that I've seen for the entire weekend was George Ford. Managing the game like a player coach is managing and being able to slot over threes when there is nothing going on for England, right? So I think he slotted about 3 or 4 drop kicks that went straight through the middle, mostly in front of the poles, but Argentina couldn't do anything about that. Every single time England visited the 22, probably not every single time, about 80 to 90% of the 22 visits from England resulted in points. And what did they do? Exactly what I wanted Argentina to do. Kept the scoreboard ticking over. From 3-0 to Argentina to a quick 9-3, even to a 12-3 before halftime, completely destroys any momentum Argentina tried to gain. Let's talk about what England really did right, other than just getting points and making sure that the scoreboard is ticking over. If anyone else saw this, the defense of England and the line speed that they brought was phenomenal. Complete chaos at ruck time that Argentina couldn't get any clean rucks, and how many turnovers from almost every single forward who stuck their head in there. So Argentina couldn't protect their ruck with a one-man over, right? Despite that they did get a yellow card. England was just completely controlling the game and tempo of the game and not allowing Argentina anything. So what could Argentina have done differently? In my opinion, I wanted them to attack that small little space just behind the defensive line. Now, when England is pressing up so hard, why not create a secondary option? What I would have done is I would have made sure that my 10 plays the 15 just behind his back who rolls on. Now it's a bit deeper, right? So that entire defense who wants to push up suddenly is now, there's no point to that anymore. My 10 plays the 15 behind his back, allows for a small chip space over or to kick into space or even to cross kick to a guy like Buffelli. Now, that would have allowed them attacking options and England would start second guessing this real speed of defense. The best way to stop a huge aggressive defensive line is to make them second guess themselves. The best way to counter a real aggressive defensive line is just to set a bit deeper and allow yourself more time on the ball. I don't feel Argentina could do this. I don't think that the 10 of Argentina who got the yellow card could completely get back into that game. Are they missing someone like Nicolas Sanchez who is cool, calm and collected underneath all that pressure? I think so, and it definitely showed. Now, the pressure points are, how do you get back into the game after everything's running against you and England are finding points where they really shouldn't? I feel that Argentina really couldn't monopolize on some of their set pieces the way they needed to. Although their scrums are dominant and they started winning a lot of penalties at scrum time, they couldn't capitalize off it. And as soon as they missed 1 or 2 penalty kicks going for post, the entire confidence dropped of the team and they just couldn't fight out of that. One last thing I want to touch on is your captain or any form of leaders on the field. Now, we all know that Montoya is currently the captain of Argentina. Great leader generally, right? And in the past, Augusto Creevy, also a hooker, great leader. I feel that no one really stepped up from the Argentinian side, pulled the guys together and said, boys, this is the action plan that we need to do. I felt that the leadership completely lost themselves, and you could see it on their faces, trying to speak even Spanish to the ref when they can to get better understanding. But most of the time, if you look at Montoya's face, it was just complete disbelief about how England is dismantling their entire attack. So how do you mitigate this? I, as a coach, am always busy coaching my captains or my leadership group on how to base a relationship to the ref. Also, what type of things that they need to do. I am not the type of coach that runs behind the poles every single time my team concedes. I want them to grow. And what do they say in the team huddle? What do they focus on? Now, if a captain has never been in that scenario before, how must he know? This is important for a coach to be able to teach these small elements. So to grow your leaders and obviously to have a greater effect on game day, because you never know what type of scenario is going to come off. Fiji versus Wales. Guys, I've been rooting for Fiji for the past few months, even before they beat England. I've told almost everyone around me that Fiji is someone to look out for. Since the Fijian Drua joined the Super Rugby, they have completely changed how they attack, how they defend, and they're not the normal Fiji that we saw back in 2019. They are finally getting some structure into their play with the loose hands that they love playing with. And guys, let's be honest, it's probably one of the most physical teams out there at the moment. I'd hate to play against a Fiji. The brand that Fiji is busy playing with is extremely entertaining. You don't know what they're going to do. You can expect offloads. And my favorite is they are putting in some massive hits with those shoulders. Sometimes illegal. This is something I want to tap onto. So in the past, we all know that Fiji is probably one of the most unpredictable teams. And I feel that's something that the coaching staff really need to zone on in is these small little penalty errors that they are giving away that makes no sense and that allows pressure to be relieved. So we saw Wales capitalize on that. We all know Dan Biggar. He's been playing for quite a while and he has quite a golden boot. If you give him any opportunity, he's going to take it. And he did. So two penalties that really ring in my mind. The first one happened around a ruck time. You got Fiji busy cleaning off a player, great stuff. But he did his job. What did he do? He cleaned past what we call the king space, which is maybe a 2x2 around a ruck. He passed that 2x2 by so far that the ref just looked at him and said, guys, that's completely taking a player out of the play. Penalty against him, halfway, 3 points for Wales. Another one from a line-out. Basic, you've already lost the line out, you've set them more, you've stopped them more. Now you're giving away another penalty at more time within your red zone. Boom, 3 more points for Wales. So I feel that if the coaching staff really work on these small elements where you cannot give away soft penalties, it's going to change the Fijian game. I hope that in the build-up of the World Cup, within the next games that we're going to see, this is something that Fiji really take care about and that Fiji are really going to do just to make sure that teams don't get easy points off of them. Let's look at how Fiji attacks, right? I mean, I love it. I think that they play hard, direct rugby, and I think it's completely bone-breaking stuff. Now, an interesting stat that I saw this morning was Wales number 6. 20 tackles made, 0 tackles missed against a Fijian side. Now, I don't know if you guys see a guy like Tuvisova running at you. How much does he weigh? 112? 115? His socks don't even fit over his calves. But to man up on guys like this, despite him getting quite a good try close to the line, I think Wales really put up their socks and, they really tried hard on defense to close down space. However, we saw that decision-making on Wales sometimes just wasn't the greatest. Everyone has seen the social media clip of Dan Biggar going absolute berserk and swearing at his players, trying to keep them accountable for trying to run the ball out of their own 22 when the clock is already red. These are little telltales of showing that, there's some young players in the Wales side who kind of want to run it and they're not quite sticking to the game plan. But like I was talking about the leadership of Argentina, the leadership through for Wales came. And Dan Biggar kept guys accountable, kept it responsible, and made sure that they're not doing those silly little errors on their own try line where they can concede easy points. I mean, just imagine they didn't kick it out, maybe a knock on, maybe a huge hit for Fijian player, and he just walks in that try. Completely changes the entire aspect of the first half and going into the change room. I know I might sound a little biased because I was supporting Fiji so much, but honestly, I think big game temperament is a huge issue in this game. We all saw closing minute. We into the red clock on the 80th minute over there. Fiji was fighting back spectacularly in the last 5 minutes. Scored try. Unfortunately missed quite an easy conversion, right? Puts on pressure. They get back into the 22 immediately. Wales under the pump. I don't know how many yellow cards, how many warnings have been given. Boom. Create the biggest overlap ever. And your man, the guy that you want on the wing at that time, Randrandra, right? On the wing, what does he do? Puts down the ball stone cold. Another clip that's busy going viral, falling down to his knees. He took the entire Fijian team, put it on at back, and just they were too heavy. I think that this shows you that, sometimes you really need your big players to show, and if they don't, that's the difference between winning and losing. I find it interesting that Fiji also changed their choice in captain just for this game. They beat England, Randrandra was the captain. Now suddenly changing captain, does that play a small little mind game with Randrandra on how he needs to perform? Does the coach now think that, we need a performance and not a captain out of him? These are small mind games that can really tick away at players that coaches sometimes don't take into consideration. So, is it a coaching error why Randrandra dropped the ball? Is it just big game temperament that killed him? I don't know, but I'm very sad Fiji lost. It would have been the best upset at the World Cup at the moment and would have given them a real good launch into the next weekend. With all the excitement built from this weekend, I have to cover Fiji on the next weekend. Fiji versus Australia, Sunday night. Banger. I can't wait. Australia, who have only won one game this entire season, right, compared to a Fiji who's busy been taking down some big names. I think Eddie Jones is going to be scared of this Fijian team and what they bring. And can Fiji fix up on these small elements? Please guys, watch my next video where I really break down the type of strategy that these two teams can do and what to expect for that game. And let's see what the prediction says. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I appreciate everyone. Bye.